Hey everyone, welcome back to Spooky Appalachia. I'm Phil and this is Jimmy, and today we have a special treat for you guys. Jimmy is going to share one of his own experiences with us of when he saw, or possibly saw, a woman in white during the 2020 lockdown. So without further ado, Jimmy, you can take it away.
Okay, so yeah, this story is a bit special because, well, it happened to me. I've been a little reluctant to share it, share some of my experiences, but talking with so many of you who have shared your experiences with me over social media and stuff, I'm starting to feel a little more comfortable about sharing now. So this happened early one dark and rainy morning during the COVID shutdown or lockdowns of 2020. I can't remember exactly when it was. It was still cold outside. May have been near the beginning of the lockdown. I think that was March. My memory's kind of fuzzy on when that was. It March, Phil? Do you
March to
remember?
like May was when stuff started opening back up again, yeah.
Okay. There was an emergency at work that I had to drive into for. I'd been working from home for a while. Um, while driving in, I never saw a single car. That was likely due to the time. I think it was before 6 a.m. and it was, also the lockdown. You never really saw a lot of cars. There weren't a lot of people driving. Um, I was stopped at a stoplight, and then out of the corner of my eye, I saw a woman in a paper thin looking dress walking down the street and into the park. And then I remember thinking, well, that's kind of odd. It was cold, it was rainy, still dark. Um, so the woman in the thin dress had no jacket, and yeah, that none of that was really making a lot of sense. I just thought it was really strange. I looked up at the light again, still red, and then I looked back for the lady, and she had vanished. I could still see a good bit further to where she had been. Just the whole area is really flat there. And you can see for a long distance, and there was no trace of her. Well, I kept driving, and then when I got across the bridge, I was like, "Man, I should have gotten my phone out and recorded that. That was really strange. It would have been a cool thing to capture. Maybe it was something paranormal. Maybe it was just something weird. Maybe she ducked and hid behind a tree for some reason. Who knows?" um,
Where was it?
this was Bissett Park.
Bissett, okay, that's kind of what I
Yeah.
thought.
Yep. Yep. That trail that kind of walks down in the path there into the park.
Yeah, yeah. So for those of you who aren't familiar with Radford, Virginia, there is a large park along the extent of the New River, or a large part of the extent of the New River, an ironically named river for being like the third oldest river in the world.
Yes. Yes. I get that a
Um,
lot when I talk
yeah,
about the New River. Um, and you know the area down there. If you're driving through there, it's completely flat. You can see probably a mile.
yeah. Is
I
this
just
near the trestle? Because wasn't there, like, a woman in white on the trestle?
uh
Didn't we have a story like that?
that that was on the other end.
That's on the other end.
There is a trestle there.
Okay.
I did hear a couple years after that. Someone asked me if I had ever heard of the hauntings on that bridge. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of it, but
No.
living in town,
The one that's, like,
um,
between Fairlawn and Pulaski
yeah,
or and
yeah,
Radford?
yeah. There's been a lot of people that have unfortunately jumped off of that bridge over the years, and I was asked if I had ever heard of the haunts related to that. And
I
I
don't
mean, I
know.
guess it makes sense to me because it's. I mean, I hear about the deaths fairly often. There was one a year and a half ago. I did hear of one in 2020.
Yeah.
Um, at the other end of the bridge, there used to be a Taco Bell. There was like
Well, someone
a
definitely
burger.
died there.
Oh yeah, you heard about that too?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Just yeah.
yeah.
Then
My
they had to
wife.
close down and
Yep,
yeah.
yep. They moved it.
Yeah.
That would have been an awfully convenient location for me for a Taco Bell.
Yeah, the whole thing is now haunted and also an EPA violation.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
nice. So, I mean, I guess it's not far fetched to say that the Bissett Park could be haunted.
Yeah. Um, yeah, that's an old area too, and I could see that being, like, kind of, like, I guess, a bit morbidly, like, a heavy spot for, like, suicides just because of its, like, proximity to, like I mean, that's generally, like, an opportunity thing, right? And its
Hmm.
proximity to, like, a lot of population.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I've never like, I guess I'm more familiar with, like, the 114 bridge close to Blacksburg. That's actually where I got diving certified, and I would absolutely buy that being haunted. That was a
Really?
creepy place to go diving.
There was a big group of people. I don't know if they still do. There was a big group of people that lived in cars and vans underneath there. I used to see when I would go fishing.
Yeah. It's that's
Or
huh.
are we
No,
thinking
I've
about the
never
same
seen and, like,
place?
that's a pretty popular, like, rafting spot in the
Yeah,
area
I've been
too, like
rafting. I mean,
yeah,
well, I wasn't trying to go rafting, but
yeah.
I was fishing. When I'm there, I'm fishing.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
we would always start in Bissett and then float
yeah,
down and get out at the 114 bridge.
yeah. I always bump my butt on the rocks there when I'm on a kayak.
Actually, the first time we were there, it was, like, me, my brother, and our next door neighbor, and, like, we couldn't get over to, like, the shore, and, like, our neighbor had just, like, given up, he'd, like, lied back in our tube, and I just, like, slipped off the tube, and it was, like, knee deep
Ah,
at that spot, so we just
oh,
walked to shore. It was like, "Yeah, we're gonna keep floating," and then yeah, so we almost became one of the ghosts of the
oh
114
wow.
bridge. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Well, cool. That's a really creepy experience. And yeah, thanks for sharing it. And if you all have any similar experiences, remember you can send them to us at webmaster@spookyappalachia.com. Thank
Don't
you
be
to our
afraid to do it.
patrons,
I did
Alvin,
it.
Charles, Danielle, Donald, Jeff, Jordan, Julia, Linda, Shannon, and Taylor. And thank you all for tuning in.